Are you looking to try what's said to be one of the fastest road shoes ever built? So was I. Let's get into the review of the Saucony Endorphin Pro. Hey guys, welcome back. I am so happy you're here today for my first shoe review. So let's go ahead and open up the box. I just grabbed them off my porch. I did take a quick little peek, but I haven't actually taken them out of the box yet, so I wanted to save that for you. So let's take a look. We'll grab out one of these guys. If you'll notice, if you're someone who is pretty into shoes, this color of the Saucony Endorphin Pro is not the one that you maybe have typically seen. This is one of their newer colors. In fact, when I went to go order them, I noticed that they had 5 different colors to choose from, and I had only in the past seen 2 or 3 colors, so it was a very hard decision, but these are the ones I ended up choosing, and I am so happy with this choice. I will just say the white ones, I did really like those, but just the white was a little bit like, ugh. I love that these have a black base to them. All right, so let's pop this out of here, this little filler. So why the Saucony Endorphin Pros? I will just tell you right now, I've been super intrigued by carbon fiber plated shoes for the last year and a half. Have just been kind of following since the beginning with the Vaporfly and 4% from Nike, and just a lot of controversy there in the beginning. And is this kind of a cheater shoe? And really it was just the fact that, you know, Nike had the technology first, and then all of these other running companies started to come out with their own carbon fiber plated shoe. So I was definitely looking into the Vaporfly. I looked in the Alpha Fly, which is like $275, just thinking, ooh, do I really want to spend that much money? And I also just kind of thought, you know, maybe I want to try out one of these other running companies and not just go straight for the Nike. So it was a hard decision, but I ended up choosing the Endorphin Pro because they were the Molly Seidel, the winner of the Marathon Olympic Trials in 2020. This was the shoe that she wore. So clearly it's, you know, helping the best do great things, right? So if it's good enough for them, it's definitely good enough for me and for you. I just could tell this was going to be a really awesome shoe. And as far as the carbon fiber plate thing, you know, I just am really intrigued. Like, is it really going to make me go faster in some of my races? And I'm just being completely honest, you know, and I think a lot of us, right, we wouldn't mind just having that little extra push. I mean, obviously, there's not going to be any sort of drastic change in the type of speed that we are doing right now. But, you know, anything that can give us that little boost, extra push off, recover better during the long runs, during the marathon, afterwards, I'm all for giving it a shot. I haven't run in these yet, so just seriously out of the box. And I'm going to go ahead and take them for a test run. I'll let you know how that goes. As well as this week, I want to go ahead and do the same tempo workout that I did last week in my Ultra Escalantes and just really pay attention to kind of keeping that same effort level and taking note of how these feel comparatively. And then I'm going to share that with you guys. So stay tuned. Watch me take them out for a run, and I will tell you all the specs and info and how I feel about them coming up. All right, guys, I am back with the Saucony Endorphin Pro and have put some miles on them. So let's get into the specs first. So what is this shoe all about? Out of the box, here's what you're gonna notice. All right, so you're going to see that this has a mesh upper. It has holes in it, making it very breathable. It's modeled after a track spike. So when you are really heating up the body and running in those warmer months, your foot is going to have room to breathe and air and not get overheated, and that is always awesome, right? All right, so moving on to the tongue of the shoe. This is a semi-gusseted tongue. Gusseted just means that it's connected to the sides, as opposed to something like the, this is the Brooks Ghost. It's completely separated except for down at the bottom. And that just gives it kind of that secure sock-like fit. So I think you'll really like that. And the shoelace, I love this shoelace. It just seems to tie really tightly, and has this extra hole here as well, so you can do a heel lock if for whatever reason you do notice that there is any heel slipping going on. Check out my video. I talk about the runner's tie or the heel lock tie, and just by using this extra hole and tying that way, that will prevent blisters, things like that. So something else you're going to notice about this shoe is that there's just not much going on back here, not much stability or cushioning or support. When I press on it, it just presses completely down. For me, this is not an issue. I use the Ultras, and this is a little bit of cushioning, but there's not a whole lot of support going on there. So this is something that I'm used to already. If you are used to using a very cushioned shoe, this is something you're probably going to notice. So these are my husband's, the Brooks Ghost. They're very cushioned, and when I try to, there's just a lot of support right there. When you try to press them down, I mean, eventually I can, right? But I have to push really, really hard. So that's just something very different, and you know, something that you're going to need to make this shoe that much lighter. So in talking about them being light, as far as weight, middle range men's shoe is 7.5 ounces, and women's middle of the range shoe is coming in at 6.8 ounces. So really anything under 8 ounces for a shoe is very light, and this is why this is considered a racing shoe. And you might see that this is called a marathon racer, but you know, a lot of the normal people, us normal folk, right, who are not elites, you know, our speeds down at the 5Ks, 1Ks, right, may still not be as fast as some of those elite racers are doing for their marathon. All right, so in talking about it being a racer, being fast, let's talk about this bottom. This is the fun part of the shoe. This is where you are getting that extra pep in your step, that pop, that speed, that bounce off the ground. This is made from, it's called Power Run PB Foam is the name of theirs from Saucony. It's a PBA foam. This is low density. It gives a lot of flexibility, great for energy return. I've seen it called the gold standard, whatever that means, but in terms of energy return, it's just going to give you that push off and really take off some of that extra fatigue off of your muscles and tendons and joints. And that's what's great about having this kind of foam in a shoe. And that carbon fiber plate, that is what's allowing you to go longer without that fatigue setting in. So I haven't used them for a long run yet. I hope to in the future. Obviously, the elites are using these for their marathon and having great results. Right along with the Vaporfly or any other carbon fiber plate shoe, this is right in line with that. So in talking about this carbon fiber plate, it's an S curve. It's really what's giving you that momentum, that push off the ground. And then Saucony calls this their speed roll technology. And the speed roll is really the foam with the carbon fiber plate. And that's what's going to give you this rolling sensation, and really just kind of this roll and pop up off the ground. And it was very noticeable. So let's move into my initial reaction. And in terms of when I was walking and running, that was really the first thing that I noticed. But when I first slipped them onto my feet, I really just felt like they kind of pulled my foot right in, gave me that locked in feeling, that good fit. I really, really liked that feeling. I will say they are definitely more narrow than what I'm used to. However, like I showed you, I use the Ultras, and they are known for their wide toe box. So for most people who are not using Ultras or something, it's probably going to be very comparable to what you are used to. I do actually think that I could have probably gone up a half size. So I wear 6.5s in all running shoes, and that's what I went ahead and ordered, but I do think I could have bumped up. So if you are between sizes or unsure, I would consider bumping up that next half size, or possibly ordering, you know, your normal size and that bump up size, and then going around your house and, you know, giving them a shot. So the other thing that I noticed right when I put them on is I felt this pressure in the arch of my foot. So about like right here, there's just a lot going on here and you can feel it. And I do think that it kind of seemed like it wasn't in maybe the right spot for me. And I don't know if that's just because I did need to bump up sizes. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this. So I did want to mention that because it was kind of disconcerting a little bit, like, oh, what's this going to feel like? Though I will say once I started running, it subsided and I didn't feel it. And it wasn't like uncomfortable or anything like that. Just, I think that stiff carbon fiber plate and that the arch is there, it just made it very noticeable for me. So I will just say on those slow recovery runs, it's just gonna feel maybe a little bit off. And so it's really not something that you're gonna be popping on to walk to the grocery store. It's probably gonna feel weird, or even on your slow miles, easy runs, recovery runs. If you're not familiar with recovery runs, check this video out. I talk all about why they are so important, but not in this shoe.
Nope.
When to wear this shoe, in talking about that, this is for your races. I really think you would be happy with them from 5K, 10K, half marathon, and then up onto the marathon. Just be sure that if you are gonna be wearing them for the marathon, just make sure you're comfortable with them in a long run. So I would highly suggest, even though you don't wanna put too many miles on this awesome shoe and wear out the sole any sooner than you need to, you do probably want to wear them for at least 1 or 2 long runs just to make sure that they're comfortable the whole way through and that they are going to help you go the distance and meet your goals. As for me, I'm going to be wearing them in a 5K this weekend, so make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell, check back with me in that video because I am ready to hit a PR. Hoping I can make that happen in this shoe, in this race, this weekend. So speed work, that's another time you want to be wearing these shoes. So I have speed work about once a week, so I'll be wearing these likely for that. Otherwise, I would maybe consider them putting in some pace work for a long run. I would just suggest when you're warming up, cooling down, wear your more cushioned shoes, your everyday trainer, and then put these back on for that pace work that you're doing, just so you don't put any extra miles on them that you don't need to. And again, they just don't really feel that great when you're running those easy miles. As far as thinking about pros or talking about those, I just am really excited in having this up as opposed to the Vaporfly because I think it's gonna hold up a lot longer. From everything I've heard and just from even initial wear, I can just tell that this is very firm and not like super squishy foamy like the Vaporfly, and so it's going to last longer, whereas maybe with that shoe you're only getting 150, 100 miles on that shoe or less. This one's probably going to be good up to around 200 miles, so I'm excited to have this for longer. The reason, for having this type of foam and the carbon fiber plate and having that speed roll technology, it's just going to reduce the energy exerted from your leg, decrease that pressure and fatigue on the calf and the tendons and the joints, and I'm really excited about that as well. So I went ahead and took these out for a tempo run that I compared to a tempo run that I had done the week before. I said I was going to do that, and it was just very windy that day, so I'm going to talk about it real quick. I just finished a 6-mile tempo in the Saucony Endorphin Pros, and taking them off for you. So it was so windy today, and those first 2 miles were straight into the headwind, about 2.5 miles actually. And I tried to do the same run as last week, but I turned around just a tad earlier. Just because the wind was so brutal. I mean, I was just struggling to even hit marathon pace, and I was trying to hit my tempo pace. And so once I turned around, obviously it felt much better, but I also really think that taxed my body a lot. And then I had a lift class at Orange Theory 2 days ago, and my legs are definitely still fatigued. So it was really hard to compare apples to apples for my tempo last week and this week. I'm pretty sure last week's was a little bit faster, just because those first 2 miles today were so slow. But once I turned around, everything was really on point. I felt really good. But then again, like that last mile, just fatigued, I think, from lifting. All right, so you can see that this is not some miracle shoe that's just going to outperform bad conditions, right? So when it was super windy, at the same effort, there was just no way that I was going to be able to get that same tempo pace or beat that tempo pace. However, I think in good conditions, had it been the same conditions, I think this would have been an awesome shoe. So I don't have any qualms about recommending this for those quick paces and races. I can feel that pop, that push, that, bump up off the ground. It's just something very, very obvious. And that rocking feeling, it definitely just feels fast. So as far as pros, those are the biggest ones, and why this shoe has become so popular for racing and just in the carbon fiber plate world. Really, I love everything about this shoe. It's fun to put on. It's just feels like it's a perfect fit for my foot and ready to race in it for sure. All right, guys, if you were able to get some good tips from this video or have more in your mind about what your next shoe purchase is going to be, or if this is the right shoe for you, please hit the like below. That supports my channel. If you are wanting to check out the shoe, I linked it below. If you do go ahead and make a purchase, it is an affiliate link, just being clear on that, but no extra cost to you, just ends up supporting me and this channel, and I appreciate it very much. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. I hope you have a wonderful run out there, and I will catch you in the next video.